short video here. We got a Bosch air compressor that they got a little crazy with the pulling on the cord, so we need to replace the cord or fix it. You can see it's wired right down to the wires, 12 gauge wires in there. So we're going to try to maybe cut this off and reattach it on the inside. Depends on what it looks like in there. Has a really short cord, but it'll be a little bit shorter. But there's some screws that need to be taken out, and I've started doing that. You got 1, 2, 3, and then back here there's 4, and then there's 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 screws all together, and those are right here. We got those, and then we have the longer ones that are in the bottom. They go all the way through. So one side is looks like a 5/16, and the other side is a hex, but you can actually put a screwdriver in there also, and that's what I had to do to get that out, and then it comes off. So don't be fooled and thinking you gotta just do that, because you can put a screwdriver in there and get it that way. You might have to put something on the other end to hold this once it starts spinning, but I just shoved a screwdriver in there just to hold it. So yeah, I'm gonna finish taking this apart. I think I got it already, but I'm using my phone, so that's gonna make it a little bit difficult. Let's see, I probably gotta take this out. I take these screws off, because maybe that's what's keeping it together there. My bad, there was another screw. This screw right here, I thought I already had out, but it was actually still in there. So, and then it just kind of pulls apart, I'm assuming. Let's see. I'm trying to get around that. Should go through there. There we go. Sorry for all the moving around in the camera, but I had to get that over that. Now the screw in the bottom, and one of the other screw, like this long one, is still in there. I couldn't get that one out, so I was hoping it would come out when I pull it apart like this. There we go. Just takes a little kick in its butt. Alright, let's turn this around so I can see what's on the inside here. So that's the inside. Nifty, huh? And this is where our cord goes up in here. We get a flashlight, we can see that better. So it's clamped down right there. So that means to get that out, we have to remove the whole motor assembly. That's just clamped down, because then you can see it goes over into here. So it goes behind there, underneath there, down into there. Alright, well, that's not going to be a fun chore. Thought it was going to be easier than that. I was just noticing something, that Bostisch, is that how you pronounce that? It's made by Stanley. Didn't even think about looking at that. But anyway, I was getting it apart a little bit more. I got this piece just pulls right out. So that was easy. And then we have to loosen this up, and I already loosened it, so I just wanted to show you where I was getting it from. in the side. And now this cover should come off right over this part somehow. Probably have to fight with it a little bit, like everything else. There we go. There we go. Set that over there. Alright, so we got this. We have our wire that goes all the way around. This one right here. That comes up here. But we still got to get that unscrewed over there, so we still have to take the motor assembly out. So we're going to have to loosen this up. And then there's a screw there, a screw right there, you can see, kinda. And then there's one right down there in the middle there. I don't think there's one in the front. So it's just those three. So I won't be able to hold the phone and do this at the same time, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so here are the 3 hex bolts that I took out of those spots I pointed to. And I used a 3/16, but I think it's millimeters because that was a little loose in there, but I still got them out. And this here I took off, I loosened up. That way I could slide the motor away from it like that. And this thing here is aluminum, so it's really flimsy. So make sure you don't get carried away with that at all. So yeah. So now we can move the motor aside to get to our screws right there. Alright, I got this off of there. I have it coming out here. It goes into this top one. There is a small screw in the front of this box right here. That's that one. A little Phillips head or a square. A Phillips screwdriver will fit in there, but it looks like a little square. So take that screw out, and this box comes right off. So that's that. And then we can trace these wires right here are our 3 wires that go to our cable. So we'll just have to loosen up these 2 screws and this ground screw over here and replace them. So let me get a screwdriver. I think I can do this one-handed maybe. I don't know if they go all the way through. Yeah, they must go all the way through, or be loops in there or something. So maybe we have to take them all the way out. Yep. This little piece fell out in there, so that make sure that goes back in there. And let's see how that little piece goes in there. It sits right up on top of the screw. Okay, so that's the way that little piece goes in there. Just like that. And then of course I drop it in an area that's hard to get to. Oh well, I'll get that out later. And then we got the ground. And that has, oops, sorry, didn't mean to cover that up. And that has that goes over the top. So make sure all that goes back in the same way. Alright, so there's our wires right there, and it's all labeled right here. As soon as I get my fingers out of the way. So we have power, neutral, power, neutral, and then the little ground symbol there for the ground there. And then we just got to take this out of here. I think this was loose, so yeah, thought it unscrewed. There's that, and then we could pull that through there, just like that. So this looks like it has this little piece here that when you tighten this, it squeezes it inside there to hold it in there, so it can't pull it back out or anything. So make sure we keep those, and keep this off there. All right, so the only other thing we got is to clip this tie wrap right here, and our wire is now free. Well, free if the air compressor wasn't sitting on it. There. So now we can either cut this off right here, and it'll make it oh, what do you say, about a 2 feet shorter. So I'm thinking they probably don't want that much shorter, so I think I'm gonna go out and buy a new plug-in for them and put that on, because this one also even has the ground pin knocked off there, which should be on there because that's connected to this right here, to prevent you from getting shocks probably, and shorts, electricity, you know, if it gets wet or something, it can do what it's supposed to do, blowing the breaker and stuff. So yeah, I'll go out and pick up one of those, and when I get one of those, we'll throw this back together. But that's pretty much it. That's all that's to this thing. You got the motor right there. It has the little gear off the motor right there. Has the belt that wraps around that, and your piston goes up and down just like that, and of course the fan to cool it down. It's an oilless air compressor, so it is right there, oil free, so it doesn't need to be oiled or anything. Hey, alright, I got the new cord in. I ordered it a little bit different. The original with the bad chunk out of it is a 14 gauge. I ordered a 12 gauge, so it'll be a little bit thicker and hopefully withstand the abuse of it getting pulled a little bit or whatever, however this happened, you know, to that one. And of course, with the new one, we have all 3 ends instead of this one missing one. So hopefully that doesn't break off again, because that's grounded to the metal here and to the metal here. So you don't want to have this thing hot and you touch it while it's on and you don't know the ground's been disconnected or broke off. Let me throw this other one away. And let's get going with this. So the new one, I had to put ends on there. I had some ends laying around. They're a little bigger than the 14 gauge ones, so I made them so they will fit in the spot that they go in, which is right there, here, here, and here. And this, my motor's still off. Remember, we have 3 screws down here. 1, 2, 3. And they're slotted holes. You could probably take one out and loosen the other ones up and then just slide it out, but I didn't go that route. So let's start with getting this wiring through here. This little piece, it's still on here. This little setup right here holds it inside this hole right here. And when you tighten this down, this part right here is supposed to crimp around the cable. Okay, well, it does that just fine, but this one happens to be broke off because of dry rotting and stuff. That one's still together, but these little pieces right there are what's supposed to be the tops of this here, which is supposed to help grab onto that cable and prevent it from coming out of here. But being that we have a bigger cable, I was still able to get this around here, which is good. And when we stick this in there and tighten it down, it still should hold on to it because it's going to squeeze these little teeth together. So hopefully it'll be good there. So I have that stuff on there, and we stick all three of these through there. And now I'm just going to take this little part that has the broken tops on it, and I'm just going to push it in there. I'm going to let, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so stick out of there, and bring the other end up to screw in to hold that in there, just so we have enough play in there. And when we screw this in there, that should push that other piece up forward and tighten the cable in there as best that it can. I mean, it won't be like brand new, but it will do somewhat of a job it's supposed to do. Let's see if I can get this wrench on here to tighten it the rest of there. Because my fingers ain't strong enough to tighten it. And squeeze it in there. I guess that's good enough. There, so I'm yanking on it, and it's not going anywhere, so it still works. Now this wire goes underneath the motor, goes over here, and it's going to go through this spot right here, I guess. Alright, and then it's going to bolt down to this little section right there. For the reason we had to take the motor off is to get to that right there. So here's our little clamp piece that goes there to hold it down. I'm guessing this should still work since it had plenty of screw. It still should be able to reach the holes. Alright, get our next one. A lot of work just to change a cord, huh? I didn't think it was going to be this much, but what can you do? I'm not going to really crank down on this because it'll break the connector. I'll set the motor in place just to see if it's out of the way enough. I'm going to adjust the cord so there isn't a whole bunch of slop sticking out this side. I don't think we need that much sticking out that side. Probably like that. Yeah, so probably just about like that much. Let's go ahead and tighten these down just a little. If you hear a snap, well, I guess you went too far. Yeah, see, that's good right there. Don't need to overdo it. Alright, we got our 3 screws, remember? Here, these 2 here, and 1 down here. So let's, we could start 2 of them. And this turns out to be a 5mm. I think I used a 3/16 or something before. I don't remember what it was, but 5mm is the size. So I'm going to start this one. And that has a washer on there, so we have to make sure that we lift the washer up before we slide the motor underneath it. Just going to start this one over in this corner too. So we'll have those 2 started. Alright, I lifted the washer up to get that one in. And do the same on this one, which goes the opposite way. Alright, so I put it in there and I had to go like this to slide underneath the screw. So you put it in there like that and you slide it motor like that, and then you can tighten them both down. Which we won't tighten them all the way yet because we got that 3rd screw to put in. Alright, those are tight. The motor's not going anywhere. I guess what we should have lined up first is this right here. We did have one zip tie that we cut off, and they put it right here to hold these all together, so we'll do that. How about that? And I'm going to annoy most people, and I'm going to leave that on there just to annoy you. Alright, let's put the case back on. This should be fun. Alright, oh, and just to let you know, because I have a thicker wire, thicker gauge wire, 12 gauge wire, this hole in the back where the 14 gauge wire went through has to be just filed a little bit bigger to get that through there. So, because if you don't file it, this ain't going to close all the way. So I just filed it a little bit, and it was enough to let the power line go through and still close altogether. It's plugged in, and it's going to get really noisy. So I can mute this part, or last time I did that, I think I made somebody mad when I did that. But anyway, here we go. Alright, look at that. We figured there wasn't going to be nothing wrong with it. I mean, it ran before, but I mean, those wires could have shorted out, I guess, but and make it not work. But yeah, I felt a little leak coming out of here, but that's probably because this piece is wearing out or something. But it was still filling up the tank once I turn the gauge. But yeah, there's a leak right there on that one. But I'm guessing they probably have their hose put in that one, so I'll let them know that, and they could go ahead and change that if they want. But other than that, I think we're all done. The job that we were called upon to do is complete. So, in review, be careful with your cord. Don't yank on it, or otherwise you'll have to go through all this hassle of trying to replace it. Alright, that's it for this one. We'll see you in the next one.